depedestalized. In an age where our schools prioritize rote learning and making young minds into machines that can keep up with the evolving demands of the market and maximizing shareholder value, the purpose of education has moved too far from inculcating a spirit of critical inquiry, as Yarani rightly mentioned. If it had, most of us wouldn't be putting up with the violences we comfortably turn a blind eye to today. The goal of history would not be to commemorate those who came before us as idols, but make us ask instead, who was silenced for this narrative to be legitimized without being questioned? So even if our schools did not include Periyar's teaching as a political figure in their curricula, we would all benefit in the long run if we were taught at the very least to think as he does. To Periyar's mind, nothing and no one is above being interrogated, and that is the only way we can actualize our commitment to building a state for the people, by the people. Which brings me to the last point I wanted to emphasize about what I felt was most crucial element of Periyar's work, as this book makes clear. This isn't anything that he said, but it is what he did, and that was to consistently and practically, constantly engage with other individuals and communities that he disagreed with. This feels almost like an alien concept to me as a member of the social media generation, where no opinion is taken seriously if it is not polarizing, and it is expected of us to cancel anyone who disagrees with us. We are a generation that has come to prefer being politically correct rather than asking an uncomfortable question, and we weaponize our political correctness to silence anything that disrupts our fantasy of knowing what is right from wrong. But the cards that our generation has been dealt are an endless series of unfortunate events. Our economic circumstances are precarious, our political circumstances are volatile, our social circumstances are marked by widening inequalities, and don't even get me started on climate change. I know how it is like to feel like the rug is being pulled from beneath my feet, and I too have felt the desire to cling on to whatever I think is right in the hopes that it will save me. However, Periyar makes it clear that there is no scope to come together and no scope to learn if we do not engage with ideas and individuals that disagree with us and sit in that discomfort. Real change cannot come to fruition merely by imposing what we believe is right onto someone who doesn't, but by having dialogue that helps us realize our collective dissatisfaction, our collective oppression, and our collective indignation. The speeches and articles in this book exemplify that the failure to interrogate our beliefs in relation to what we encounter when we look around us is nothing short of political suicide. Periyar says that the youth should do whatever is required to strengthen people's agitation. Looking at the long road ahead, 3 words come to mind. Yadir Nichal, Vidamuyarchi, Purachi. Thank you.
ஆங்கிலத்தில் அருமையானதொரு திறனாய்வு கட்டுரை வழங்கிய ஆய்வாளர் புலரி மீரா பாஸ்கர் அவர்களுக்கு நன்றி. அடுத்த உரையாளர் பேராசிரியர் எஸ் ஆனந்தி அவர்களை உரையாற்ற வருமாறு அன்போடு அழைக்கிறேன்.
Thank you for this opportunity to engage with a very, very important book. I'm a bit jealous about the way the book has come out in a very collective manner. Translator and the editors, all of them have come together and put together and translated a very important document here. The Dravidian Research Forum should be appreciated for asking women to review this book, while all men have written this document. This is a very important kind of an occasion in that sense. I'm jealous in the sense, I have been also thinking about, say, 40 years back, when we started out doing research on Dravidian studies, or when we started to look at the Dravidian movement. There were very few documents to rely upon. And one, of course, as in the introduction VMS mentions, the Periyar Tidal itself, அங்கே போனோன்னா பேப்பர்ஸே இருக்காது. அப்புறம் என்னென்னா இந்த ஜெராக்ஸ், ஆயில் ஜெராக்ஸ் பண்ணி கொடுப்பாங்க. அந்த ஆயில் ஜெராக்ஸில் அந்த வேர்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் மறைஞ்சிரும் இங்கே. By the time you begin to look at it, the whole process of looking at these documents and writing a thesis had taken a very prolonged time. And then on top of it, there used to be no forums to discuss in this way. Or, this is really appreciable, and the kind of time you have come into is something very visibly, appealing in many sense. ஸோ இன்னொன்று என்னென்னா, நாங்கள் இந்த 80s, லேட் 80s, 90s இந்த ஒர்க் பண்ணும்போது வாட் கைண்ட் ஆஃப் செகண்டரி லிட்ரேச்சர் வி வேர் ரிலையிங் ஆன். ஒன்று பார்த்தோன்னா சோஷியாலஜிஸ்ட் ரைட்டிங் ஆன் காஸ்ட் ஸ்டடீஸ். ஸோ யூ ஹேவ் ஹார்ட் கிரேவ்,